So today we're going to have a Q&A vlog. I have some of your questions that you sent to me opened here, and we're just going to be going through them and answering them to best of my abilities. Do you think computer science majors can make it in the future job market? Okay, so this question is, I believe, very controversial these days, especially with the rise of AI. Some people think, okay, we're done for. Some people think, oh, it's just getting started. It's like a calculator, you know what I mean? People believe that mathematicians were about to be erased when the calculator was invented, but it just helped mathematicians be better mathematicians. Okay, I'm stuttering saying mathematicians. And the point is, in my opinion, I stand with the latter, which is I think AI just gave us more opportunity to develop in a faster environment, and it's not really erasing the job market. Of course, that does mean there will be less people employed, perhaps, but you can guarantee that you're one of those people, if that makes sense, by adapting to the situations and becoming a better developer and building your own stuff. Because the job market is only one aspect, right? You can use AI to create your own company, basically. Something that would have taken 50 workers a couple years ago, now you can do it with ChatGPT. So I think it has opened new doors more than it has closed. So I think that's a good answer. How did you get so well on DSA and programming? How? So let's be honest, we all hate lead code. I mean, especially when you're getting started out. The people that are good at it and the people that have spent years on it, of course, they love lead code. But I feel like nobody solved their first question and enjoyed it, I believe, because it made you feel stupid. And that's kind of the purpose. For you to become a better at anything, you first have to be feeling stupid, like you don't know anything. And that's grounds for you to realizing how much you need to learn and for you to learn. If you actually knew everything already, you wouldn't really be learning something new, right? So I think the first year I started data structures and algorithms to be professional at it, I believe I did it almost daily, and I did it everywhere. I did it at the library. I did it in bed. It became my like daily schedule to the point where yeah, you can see my lead code. I'll put it up on the screen where my lead code was super green. I was doing it every day. I wake up like an hour earlier than school just so I can do my daily lead code and then leave.
Because when I got here, I dominated. They thought I worked 100 hours a day.
Could you share how you earned your first income? Since I'm struggling to earn my first dollar, I feel like it's the hardest to make. Okay, so I kind of agree with that last sentiment that your first dollar is genuinely the hardest to make, and I've struggled through it. And how I got my first client, well, it was around 3 years ago now, in 2023, 2 years ago. And it was my birthday, and I was at my favorite ice cream shop. And I was just sitting there and thinking, like, they have some of the best ice cream I've ever had, but they don't seem to have as many customers as they should be having, considering how good their ice cream is. So I talked to the cashier. I was like, how come you guys have great quality ice cream, but not as many customers as the other brands? And they're like, I just people don't know about it. So that kind of gave me an idea of like they could use the internet to kind of expand and gain more customers. This was before like the popularity of TikTok food reviewers and all that. There was like only the people in the neighborhood knew you know what I mean? So I went and then I got the phone number of, can you give me the phone number of the manager? And she gave it to me. And then I made a landing page for them before the payment, before I even talked to their boss. And then I went and texted them like, I've already made the website. If you like it, you like it. You can buy it off me. If you don't buy it off me, it's fine. And yeah, we actually met up in person. She was not an Ethiopian, actually. It happened, she was French. And then she texted me which day she'll be getting back into the country, and we met up at the ice cream shop. I got free ice cream that day. And then I just showed her, okay, I've been a customer of this place for 2-3 years. I don't see that many people coming through. So I was just thinking you should expand using the internet because it's the future. And she liked my pitch, and that's how I landed my first client. So that's the story of how I got my first client. What was your first 3 dev jobs respectively, including salary, how you got them, and other details, please, if possible? Okay, so I'm going to understand this as a different context from the previous one, because that one said how I made my first money, and this is more about jobs. So my first dev jobs, including their pay, the first one was This company wanted an e-commerce website that sold for 6,000 Ethiopian birr, or I don't know how much it's in dollar. I'll put it in dollar. But that was my first project. That's how I made off of it. We made the front end, the back end, everything, even deployment, DevOps, everything was me and my friend. And that's how much we made off of it. Not much, but for a struggling college kid, I really thought, damn, this is not bad. So that was my first job. And then the second one was also an e-commerce website. At some point, e-commerce websites were a trend. And then that one, I believe I sold it for 11,000 birr, or however amount that is in dollar. And then third project was nice. It was a management system for a restaurant that's located around Bole. What's the Bole pizza place called? The famous one. Yes. Mokoro, thank you. So it was for Mokoro Pizza, and it was actually around 40,000 birr, which was my big paycheck. They didn't pay through, the contract fell through after they paid like half, so I only got like 20 something. But still, hearing I was gonna get 40,000 for the time was a big deal. So those were my first three jobs, and how I got them would be through connections, I'll be honest. Like, people in my university saw my personal projects and they thought like, hey, you're a good developer and I have clients, would you like to manage them? And the key takeaway I want you to take from this is, in university, you're going to meet more people than knowledge. So don't go there, go to class, sit in the back and go back home. Communicate, because you're surrounded by like-minded individuals, your fellow developers, your fellow entrepreneurs. So don't waste your university years. It's only gonna get harder to make connections as you go older. Have you ever questioned your career path? Genuinely don't know. At the start, yeah, like especially before I met you. As I met you now, I'm like, okay, if they're all like this is fun. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So I'd say I did actually doubt myself a lot at the beginning, especially when you're kind of struggling to learn and everything feels so foreign. You start to think like, am I even smart enough for this? So at the start, I definitely questioned if it was what I was meant to do, because I wasn't comprehending. Again, it wasn't really lack of passion. It was just, I didn't comprehend it will take time. And if I just do this every day, I'll eventually get better at it. So you start doubting yourself. Everybody seems to do it so easily, so naturally. So why can't I do it? I must not be for this. So yeah, you doubt your career paths a lot. And now I'm constantly conflicted about, okay, do I just get employed at work, or do I work on my own project? That's also one distinction in career paths, because even as a developer, there's a lot of choices that need to be made. And yeah, I do doubt it, but at the end of the day, like, you keep pushing unless you have like a solid alternative, or at least until you know you should be doing something better, or you have the passion for something else. You should keep pursuing it. You can't just drop out, or change careers unless you have a better vision. Your net worth. Is this the IRS, brother? Listen to me, government. I make no money whatsoever. I live off of my parents' allowances. Let's take a break and we'll be back. We just got to the bowling place, and to make it interesting, we agreed that whoever loses has to pay, so this is about to be interesting. Solo, you're my hero. What would it take to be close with you? Well, usually you can find me at the bowling place, or if that doesn't work, you can always call me. Niggas so lazy to answer a couple of questions. It's the next day now. Goddamn. So let's continue. How are you on relationship stuff though? I've never heard you talk about it. Do you have a girlfriend? I think I'm gonna keep that information private. How old are you? I'm 21 years old, 21 years young. Describe the process you go through when you're developing your projects. Okay, so this might be a bit controversial, but whenever I have a project idea, I first go to ChatGPT and ask it if something similar exists because I don't want to be wasting days or even months working on a project and it'd be like, oh shit, Google does it better, you know? So I asked ChatGPT, and that's at the risk of getting my idea stolen. By the way, I'm so scared of like ChatGPT is gonna take my idea and they're going to build it for themselves, and they're going to be the next big company. They're bigger than Facebook. They're bigger than they already are, based on my idea. So I'm a bit paranoid. But yeah, I talked to ChatGPT, and then if it doesn't exist, and then I'll tell it if and ask it if it's feasible. Like, I'm not trying to create magic here, you know. If it's not technically possible, then I'll skip it. And if it says it's also technically feasible, it's just learning whatever knowledge it needs, reading up on it, and then get into building it. So that's my process. How do I stand out in the Ethiopian developer community? So first up, I don't really think I have a name, not yet at least, but I'd say just build in public. Just tell them what products you're building, why you want to build it, is it solving your own problems, and be transparent with people. As much as people think being a content creator, I don't want to label myself that, but creating content is about, like, you know, creating some persona people will like, or try to act like Kai and your favorite streamer or whatever. Just be yourself and people will relate to it because people would love to see people that are like them achieving good things, not some cool kid that you're trying to act like some nonchalant. Where's my glasses? You know what I mean? So just be yourself.